Hello, fellow ink drinkers, and welcome back to the Blind Girls Book Talk podcast. My name is Aria.
And I'm Belle.
And we are two legally blind sisters who love reading and love books. And so what we've done is we've created this show in order to talk about that. We talk about a wide variety of bookish content, and that can range from bad retellings of stories, book to movie adaptation comparisons, buddy reads, recent reads, bookish challenges. Really, the list does go on and on. And today we're doing a bad retelling. It's been a while since we've done one of these. And the bad retelling that we're going to do is actually a bad retelling of Metamorphosis. Normally, I'm the one that does bad retellings. However, Belle has a personal vendetta against Metamorphosis.
I do.
And so therefore she asked if she could be the one to do this bad retelling today. So considering I'm slightly sick and still kind of getting over that.
Dude, I still sound worse than you.
I know. I just don't feel good. But regardless, you got me sick. I blame you.
Yeah, and I'm still coughing.
I still blame you. So that being said, Belle is going to be the one to take it away and give her bad retelling of this story. So, whenever you're ready.
Okay, first part, I'm going to give my version of this book as Arya gives for Rebecca. Man randomly turns into gigantic beetle. And he was the only breadwinner, and so then his family struggling to, stay alive because he's a fudging giant beetle for no reason at all. And then he ruins something for his family, and his dad gets mad, and he throws an apple at the sun, and it lodges between, his shell?
I guess.
Exoskeleton? I don't know. I don't know bug terminology. Anyway, it lodges in between his, back, and it just rots. And he's just like, well, I'm not going to eat while this apple rots in my back because nobody's taking it out. And then that leads to his demise. And then the book ends with the parents sitting there on a train with the sister just looking at her and being like, she's of meritable age. Entirety of this fudging book.
You're not wrong. To me, I feel like a better way to tell the part about the apple is apple gets thrown, it gets lodged in his person, in his body.
His back.
It starts rotting, and Gregor says, well, guess I'll die. And that's it.
Well, it's more so the apple gets lodged, and he's like, I'm a burden to my family.
Guess I'll die.
Guess I'm going to starve myself.
Yeah, he literally says, guess I'll die, and then he does so.
It takes him a while, though.
Yeah. So, okay, why do you hate this book so much? I mean,
59 pages of nonsense.
Okay, fair, but, there's got to be more of a reason than it's just
Dude just
nonsense.
randomly turns into a bug. Okay, I get it's the symbolism, but legit, if we're going off the symbolism, it's dude hates his life, so turns into bug. Because all the sense.
Okay.
And then, all this stuff with the daughter, it's just weird.
Yes. Yes, it is. I mean, I know I wasn't a fan of this story. I think it didn't resonate with me. I was just kind of like, oh, okay, well, this is a thing. And I didn't like it. So, yeah, I was not a fan of this book. I never had been, never will be. It's a no from me, but granted, also, most classics are a no from me.
This is one of the ones between this and, oh shoot, read my mind.
My brain is too tired for that.
It's very disturbing.
A Poe thing?
No, it's the gothic one. Mysteries of
Monk?
Udolpho.
Oh.
Or no, it is the monk. You're right, it's the monk. I don't know why I went Mysteries of Udolpho. That's not it. It's the monk. The monk. The monk is bad too.
Which we've already talked about.
We've talked about the monk
a long
and
time
how much
ago.
the monk actually sucks. But anyway, no, this is worse. I remember reading this book, and our English teacher in 9th grade was sick, So for the honors classes, it was just read this book. Like, she just wants you to read this book. Like, start working your way through this book. I think me and the guy in my class, we were the only two to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, get really close to finishing it within that, like, 45-minute block. Because we sat with one person in between us. And we were, like, the quicker readers of our group. So, legit, I'd make a comment, and I'd be like, does anybody get this yet? And, like, I'll say, like, a part. 2 minutes later, he'll just comment, what are we reading?
Yeah.
Yep, you're at where I question life. Because no sense at all. And I think we both had, like, half the last paragraph left when the bell rang. So we just took it and we just finished it. I think I finished it in the car before we even left the parking lot. And he took it on the bus and he finished it. And then we showed up to school on Monday because, like, we had pretty much the same schedule. And so, like, when we finally saw each other, we looked at each other and we were like, you finish it? Yep. Do you understand it? Nope. What's with that ending? Yeah, I'm questioning that too, dude. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I forgot how the story ends, to be perfectly honest with you.
Legit, they're coming back from mourning him.
Yeah.
And they're just on a train. The parents look at the daughter. She's of marriageable age. Yes, because you just buried your son.
Yeah, I don't.
Kafka, what drugs were you on to create this insanity?
Yeah, I have no answers. Like I said, this story went over my head. I don't like symbolism. It's not my thing. I just don't like this story.
Again, like, I will always say, this is the greatest book to teach symbolism, but it's still dumb.
I'm trying to think of anything that's, like, real symbolism heavy other than Metamorphosis that I had to read that was...
Honestly, it's legit just that book. That is the only book I think I ever read. I mean, there were other books that I talked about symbolism in. Jane Eyre.
But I didn't have to read that.
No, because I did some symbolism in Jane Eyre. But, like, other than that, and that was a summer reading assignment to be like, what have you learned the previous year?
Which is also dumb. I mean, I feel like the only other book that I read that kind of comes close to the outlandishness of Metamorphosis is between, like, Martian Chronicles or Hitchhikers.
I was about to say, like, Hitchhikers for me, but then again, I stopped Hitchhikers. I got, like, so far, and I'm like, I'm done.
But, again, those two are infinitely better than, well, you're going to agree to disagree on Hitchhikers because you didn't like Hitchhikers. But
yeah, but I will still say Metamorphosis is worse than Hitchhikers. Hitchhikers, I stopped. Like, I just couldn't. Like, I got, like,
Hitchhikers is
a third of the way through, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. This is why I don't like sci-fi-esque things. Because legit for that one, I tried, because it was one of Ari's favorites. And so I'm like, okay, I'll do it. Nope.
Yeah, no, it's Hitchhikers I still think is infinitely better than a lot of the other stuff that you have to read for school.
I mean, I didn't have to read Hitchhikers.
I did. I did. But I also read it like the end of my senior year.
Yeah,
so,
I didn't read. I tried to read it sophomore.
Yeah, no, you need, like, honestly, you need Hitchhikers when you're going through a lot of other stuff in your life and you need something to be just like this carefree jaunt around the universe. That's what Hitchhikers is.
Like, as soon as, like, he pulls up to, like, this weird Jetson, like, planet drive through car thing, I was like, I don't know what is happening, and I hate it.
Yeah, you didn't give it a chance. But anyway, so yeah. I still think, though, like, those are the only two that come close, and both of those are sci-fi. Like, I think there's something to be said that things that...
you could argue Tolkien for symbolism, but whenever I read The Hobbit...
I didn't have to read that.
I know, and you suck. I shouldn't force you to read The Hobbit, so you can experience my pain.
I won't do it.
Tolkien, I feel like, is also one you could go for symbolism, but, like, at the end of the day for Tolkien, it's world building.
Yeah, there is a lot of world building in Tolkien, but it isn't like, again, Tolkien's works aren't for me. They never have been, never will be. Sorry, not sorry. I'm not a high fantasy girl. I can't do it. I love
don't like
fantasy.
Gollum.
I just don't like high fantasy. I can't. My brain can't do it. I don't like every other word I read to be just this mishmash of letters that my brain just like makes a garbled noise for and we move on. Like, no, I want to be able to pronounce my words.
Oh, listen, man.
Also, it's the other thing that goes for against Tolkien for me is that it's classic fantasy. And again, no. Again, the answer is no.
Yeah. I'm just now getting back into fantasy, which is freaking weird. But, like, I don't like Tolkien, but I swear Metamorphosis takes the cake for the worst book ever written. Because that is 59 pages of sheer torture.
I would argue Brave New World. I would argue A Long Walk to Freedom.
Didn't have to read that.
I know. You didn't have to read those. Honestly, you should read Brave New World just so you can feel the pain.
You want me to buy a Brave New World?
I will figure out the logistics for that. Like, I will make it happen. I want you to experience the absolute...
If you buy me a Brave New World for Christmas, I will slap you.
The absolute insanity of that book, because that book is horrid. I don't like that book. I think, like, honestly, for me, there are a lot of things that are down there by Metamorphosis. I think the jungle's down there.
Oh, that book also sucks. I always forget that book exists. I think the only thing that sucks with that book, though, was the timing that I had to read it, because that was not fun timing for reading that book. Because I had to read it over Christmas break, and reading it before you sit down for Christmas dinner, it ain't fun.
It ain't it.
It ain't fun. You do not want to eat anything on the table.
Yeah, there's a lot for me that tie for Metamorphosis. But then again, I didn't like Metamorphosis, but I also didn't like despise it as much as you do.
Oh, I despise that book.
I was just kind of
reason my lump was named Gregor.
Well, yeah. But no, for me, I'm just kind of like, this is meh. This is dumb, but like also meh. Also, I really don't want to be reading this, but here I am reading it. Thank goodness it's only 50-something pages, because then it's done quicker. It's better than something like Long Walk to Freedom or Brave New World, which are much longer in comparison, and you're there.
I think it was much more because, like, before we read Metamorphosis, I think we read that in the spring, if I remember correctly. Because I remember coming out with a jacket on from school. I remember despising it because up to that point, we read things that made some semblance of sense. Like Animal Farm, we were like, okay, it's just the Russian Revolution. It's fine. From there, we read... Oh, crap. What was the next one we read?
I don't know.
Actually, I may lie. Metamorphosis would have been next. I don't know. I remember that I read Great Expectations and Rebecca, too. I liked those.
Yeah, you would. No, I want to say I read Metamorphosis like 10th grade year. I don't think I read it as a freshman. So...
Wimp.
That's the curriculum, darling. They changed it when you came around. Not my fault. We read a lot of books 10th grade year.
I also read a lot of books 10th grade year, but I read things you didn't 10th and 11th grade year.
Yeah, they switched stuff out. Like, they changed stuff and they switched stuff out because, like, you read Fahrenheit, I read Martian Chronicles. So they're both Bradburys.
I read A Separate Piece.
I did too.
Yeah, but you didn't read it that year.
I read it sophomore year.
You did?
Yes.
I didn't think you did. That's also a crappy book.
Yeah.
Catcher in the Rye.
I did not read that.
You did not read that one. That was 11th grade. That one sucks.
I don't know what we switched for that, but I did not read Catcher in the Rye. Never had
Crucible?
to.
Did you read The Crucible?
Yes.
I liked The Crucible. That one was fun.
I didn't. And you would think it would be right up my alley, but I blame classics. Like,
dude, it's a play.
It's a classic play.
It's not that difficult.
I hated it. But like, you have to understand, high school me, if it was a classic, it was very surprising for me to be like, oh, a classic is fun. Because for me, there were just so many bad in the sense that I didn't like them bad, boring classics. Like, there were not very many interesting ones. Martian Chronicles was one interesting one. Pride and Prejudice was another. I think that's about the only books that I read in school that I adored.
When I didn't read Pride and Prejudice with my AP class because I already read it.
Lol. Yeah, no, but...
And I still showed up my teacher.
Yeah. No, but Pride and Prejudice and Martian Chronicles were the two best books that I read that I truly enjoyed in school. And honestly, I feel like really the books that they pick, it can give even the staunchest readers, like the biggest readers, a reading slump. It really can, because they're not fun. Like Frankenstein, not fun. Like, you think it would be fun, it's not fun.
Dracula, not fun.
I tried doing that on my own, and I got most of the way through it. I just couldn't do it anymore.
Dracula is not fun.
I'm trying to think of what else I read in school. Because then you had a lot of, like, the forgotten ones. Kind of like All Quiet on the Western Front, My Antigone.
Nope.
The Jungle, but we talked about that one. Separate Peace. Joy Luck Club.
I hated Joy Luck Club.
Joy Luck Club, it was meh for me.
So dumb.
It was meh for me. Meh. A lot of these things that you have a hatred to, I'm like, this is meh.
I wouldn't say I hate it. I was more so reading Joy Luck Club, and I'm like, this is so dumb. Why am I reading this? Like, especially because I was like, at that point, I'm not using this on the AP exam, because at that point, I had already talked to Aria, and I was like, where Aria was pretty much just like, pick 2 books, know them well, and you can do any AP essay.
But we read Joy Luck in sophomore year. It was like one of the first books we read sophomore year.
That's AP.
So, yeah, they really switched things around between...
First book for us was Fahrenheit.
I feel like we read Martian like in the middle of the year. I don't think it was like one of the first things we did.
We may have done like a play before it, but like our first big thing was...
Oh, and then you had like
Fahrenheit.
Oedipus, and you had...
Oedipus Rex, that was a good one. Macbeth was a good one.
Well, but also, again, I just, there were a lot of times that I'm like, I know y'all are trying to do this, but like, how about we don't? How about the answer be nah, and we just have fun here?
Yeah, because I feel like in 12th grade, we really got away from the actual like book in 10th grade.
Say in 12th, but see, okay, so I did AP English 11th grade year, and I did AP Lit 12th grade year. And I feel like I didn't read nearly as much as I should have 12th grade year compared to like sophomore year.
Sophomore year, I read so many novels.
Yeah, there were so much in sophomore year.
11th grade year, junior year, I did read a lot.
Yeah, there was a good bit
the
in
only time
English
we read from like the English textbook that like, you know, all the other lower classes were using. The only time we used that was when we did Poe. Because we did a whole thing on Poe.
We didn't touch Poe.
Because we did...
Yeah, not that late in the game.
I touched it a bit the year before that. Because I did Pit and the Pendulum, and there was another one. I did Telltale Heart in 8th grade.
Telltale Heart was 7th grade for me.
It was 8th grade for me. And then we didn't touch him 9th grade. 10th grade was Pit and the Pendulum. And then 11th grade was... Oh, shoot. What were they? They're his other 2 really famous ones.
Fall of the House of Usher.
Fall of the House of Usher. And then there's the other one that's really freaking weird.
Cask of Amontillado.
I think, yeah, that one. That one, the weird one about the masks. It's weird.
Yeah. Oh, no. Mask of the Red Death.
That. Oh, I did read the other one, though, too.
Mm-hmm.
We read a lot. Mask of the Red Death, that one's freaking weird.
Oh, I love that one, though.
I mean, it's so cool and can be so creepy, but like when you first read it, you're just like, what did I just read?
I like that one. I think that's probably one of my favorite. Well, actually, no. Hop Frog is one of my faves. And so is the Mask of the Red Death. Those two are probably my favorite Poe
I like
stories.
Pit and the Pendulum, Telltale Heart, and the Raven.
Yeah.
I read the Raven in one class, and I forget even what class. That actually may have been freshman year when we did our little poetry section. We may have did Raven.
But anyway, we've gone way off topic. So yeah, Metamorphosis.
It sucks.
As you can see, because we didn't even really want to talk about it all that much.
You really can't. You can only talk about so much when there's only 59 pages.
It's no fun. It's
Although
no
recently
bueno.
I finally saw that book at a bookstore. Never saw it at a bookstore before.
Magic.
It was magic, honestly, considering I also found out Kafka has like actually other works. And I'm just like, what? People read this?
Yeah.
Who buys this?
I don't know. So I think that about sums it up. I mean, Metamorphosis, it's no fun. Like, good luck reading it if you have to. May the odds be ever in
Good
your
for
favor.
symbolism. Only thing that can get you through it.
Symbolism is irrelevant. So anyway, we want to thank you guys for coming along today as we talked about Metamorphosis and our bad retelling of it. Well, Belle's bad retelling of it. Of course, if you like this episode, if you like what you've been listening to, please consider following the podcast and sharing the episode with your friends. It really would help us to grow the show, and we would appreciate the support those actions would give. Now, what are we going to be talking about next time?
That is a good question.
It deserves a great answer.
It really does. We're gonna do something different.
Yes, we are. So, yeah, it's going to be kind of secretive for now. Come back next week. We'll explain what's going on. So, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.